meeting that she had to attend. But we've got a lot of other folks on here, and so I wanted to get started. We always start with a moment of inspiration, and there's a good chance that we have two of them this morning, because on the sign-up sheet, I show that Gordon Rowe signed up to do it, and then Marilyn reached out to me and said she had one as well. So Gordon, let me start with you. Do you have a moment of inspiration for us this morning? And don't forget, you'll have...
Yes, yes.
Am I on?
Yes.
You are.
Okay. I went to high school in San Marcos. I was very pleased with that experience. My dad was pastor of the Methodist Church, and he was in Rotary, where he was, guess what, song leader of Rotary. But I was in the speech club, my inside group of friends, and one of our members lived across the street from the high school, so we would go over there often after school to meet at his house. And we went to many a speech meet during this season of the year. Well, one of our Rotary members was named Addison Buckner, and he had the local newspaper there. And when it was our turn to go to speech meets, we would have a debate. The high schoolers would go to the Rotary Club, and the high schoolers would always take the affirmative, why we should do such and such, whatever the topic was for that year. And then the negative would always reply. And the two sides would alternate speakers, positive, negatives, and so forth, with the high schoolers on the positive and the Rotarians on the negative. At the end of the time, the Rotary Club would vote, and they always voted unanimously in favor of the high schoolers. So that's a memory that I have of Rotary, very fond memory. This season of the year, you know, that the Rotary Club would think enough of the high school speech club that they would invite us to do that program. Freedom of speech. So that's one of my fond memories of Rotary.
And that's a great memory, Gordon. Thank you very much for sharing.
Yes.
And
yes.
Miss Marilyn, you had sent me a note, said you had one you wanted to share.
I do. Eons ago, there lived a little Zen pig. He enjoyed his life much more than most because he took the time to look at things close. Then Zen pig is special and specialer than others, they would say. Yet Zen pig said, no, I can show you the way. Care for each other as much as yourself, and never lose sight that love is the wealth. Don't waste too much time in the future or in the past. Just enjoy the moment and all that it has. You want to mute?
I'm muted.
Sorry. Okay. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment and all that it has. We all make mistakes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sorry. And all that it has. We all make mistakes, so forgive yourself fast. Whatever you see, take time to look close. You'll be marveled and amazed at what it shows. Now listen to my words and repeat after me. I am abundant, I'm happy, I have all I need to live a happy and grateful life. Zen pig. The end.
Sweet.
Very good. All right, I'm gonna venture a guess that you're missing one thing, Marilyn, because I know how much you need a hug.
I missed what you said.
I said I'm gonna venture that you're missing one thing because I know how much you need a hug.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for that. Thank you both, actually. John, I wanted to give you the floor for a minute to introduce our guest.
Okay.
don't hear anything.
No, I think he's
Okay.
having trouble getting himself unmuted.
Okay. Just making sure something wasn't going wrong on my end.
No.
Let
There
me
you go.
introduce to you Melissa Gillian. Melissa is the winner of one of our scholarships. And Melissa, if you unmute yourself, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your goals are and where you're planning on going to school and where you're going to school now, and fill us in.
So good morning, my name is Melissa Guillen, and I'm a LHS senior, and I'm about to graduate, and I've decided on attending to Texas Women's University, majoring in nursing. And my goal is to go to school and be debt free.
And
All
where are you
right.
going
It's a
to
big
school?
goal. I didn't quite get that.
I'm sorry. Where are you going to school?
At the moment, I'm going to Lewisville High School.
And you originally went to Central Elementary?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That is very cool.
Melissa, I missed, what college are you going to?
Texas Women's University.
Wonderful.
That's
Great
excellent.
facility.
Yeah.
Do you know what your
Well,
major is going to be?
Nursing.
Nursing. Okay. My wife went to TWU as a nursing student as well.
Oh, nice.
But that was a few years ago,
Yeah,
right?
that was quite a few years ago.
That's great. Well, Melissa, thanks so much for coming and sharing. We really appreciate it, and best wishes to you. And
Thank you so
hopefully, you actually get to go to Texas Women's University.
Right, yeah. And not virtually, that would suck.
Yeah.
And we need those nurses, so
Yes, we do.
For
we have
sure.
to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right. Well, Mr. Cheney, are you ready to do this week in history?
Mute yourself.
You guys can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Right. So this week in history, it's my favorite one. So starting in the year 313, the Roman Empire was unified under Leonidas. In 1250, King Louis the IV of France is ransacked and ransomed. In 1527, King Henry VIII of England and King Francis of France signed the Treaty of Westminster. And then in 1563, all Jews are expelled from France by the order of Charles VI. 1725, Spain withdraws from the Quadruple Alliance. In 1789, George Washington is inaugurated as the first U.S. president. Pretty awesome. In 1807, the United States doubles its size through the Louisiana Purchase from France for $15 million. Awesome. 1812, Louisiana is admitted into the Union as a state. Let's see, 1864, work begins on the dams along the Red River, which allow the Union General Nathaniel Banks troops to sail over the rapids above Alexandria. That was during the Civil War. 1930, the Soviet Union proposes a military alliance with France and Great Britain. In 31, the George Washington Bridge linking New York and New Jersey opens. And 1943, the British submarine HMS Seraph, drops the man who never was, a dead man the British planted with a false invasion plans into the Mediterranean off the coast of Spain. And 1945, Adolf Hitler commits suicide in his bunker. Hooray for that. 1968, U.S. Marines attack a division of North Vietnamese troops in the village of Dai Du. In 1970, U.S. troops invade Cambodia to disrupt North Vietnamese army base areas. In 72 as well, or 1972, the North Vietnamese launch an invasion of the South. In 1973, President Richard Nixon announces the resignation of Harry Robbins Halderman, John L. Richmond, and other top aides. Okay. In 1975, North Vietnamese troops entered the Independence Palace of South Vietnam in Saigon, ending the Vietnam War. In 1980, terrorists seized the Iranian embassy in London. And let's see. Also, in 1933, Willie Nelson was born.
Oh.
1945, Ann Dillard. Some fun people. Well, let's see. The Queen of the Netherlands, Juliana, was born in 1909. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, that was good. Thank you
week.
very much, Michael. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to turn our attention to Rotary, and Mr. Picorni is going to give us a foundation moment or two.
Thank you. Okay, some important information for everybody to know. Coming up, Rotary Ideas Session, which is today at noon. If you've got an hour to spend at noon, it's going to be a great session. The links were sent to everybody already, and if you're missing one, you can send me an email. I'll send it to you. Larry Dimmitt is our prime speaker, and he's going to be sharing with us a lot of different projects that Rotary clubs are doing throughout the world in response to COVID-19. Once again, that meeting is this afternoon at noon. This is a Rotary day for me. Hopefully for some of you. This evening we have district assembly training on the foundation. Anybody that wants to serve on the foundation committee with me next year, I invite to attend. In fact, all of you can attend. Everything you need to know about TRF, EYER, sustaining member, PHF, PHF plus, PHS, and all the other Rotary International programs. If you don't know what that alphabet soup means, you need to be at tonight's meeting. So that's everything for Thursday. On Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're having Rotary Response Telethon. Rotary is attempting to raise, the number keeps on moving. I want to say $3 million to respond to COVID-19. It'll be a 1-hour telethon, just like any other telethon, except it's going to be on Facebook. And basically, it's everything that Rotary is doing to help people out that are being impacted by the COVID-19 disaster. Another program that I want to make sure everybody knows about is Volunteer Surge. Rotary's goal, this is Rotary International goal now, is 1 million volunteers. Rotary International is partnering with the Global Impact Group to provide free online training that teaches you how we can assist professional healthcare workers. And for those of us that aren't allowed to leave our home because we're compromised in some fashion, we can do it from home if you want to. Or you can actually, for those that are healthy, you can actually go into the field and help out. These are things like helping out at nursing homes. In the old days, Melissa, I don't know if they still do that. They have gray ladies these days, or gray girls, or pink girls, or anyways, I guess that's not being done anymore, and Rotary is going to try to fill that gap to free up healthcare workers to serve the people being impacted by COVID-19. Here again, see our website for the link to volunteer. And then the last one I want to talk about is Rise With Us. This is a program being done by Rotary District 5790, our district, which includes the 73 clubs in the north central area of Texas. We as a district are seeking a grant from Rotary, from the Rotary Foundation. That grant could be for as high as $80,000. And what we're trying to do is raise money, $25,000 as the match. If we can raise that $25,000 or more, Rotary through district designated funds and through Rotary funds will match it, and we might have an $80,000 grant that we can use to support hospitals in the area and food banks in the area. This is a particular note to us because a couple of those, one of the food banks that we're planning on supporting is the Tarrant County Food Bank, which, by the way, provides the food for CCA and Salvation Army. So to the degree that we're participating as members or as a club, we're also going to have an opportunity to match some of those funds and help those agencies personally here. That's all I have, Tom.
That's great, John. Thank you very much. Well, speaking of Rise With Us, I just want the club to know that we've been working on trying to figure out just exactly how much the club will have in leftover, I'm going to call them assets, because of expenses that we're not going to incur this year. I put that together and sent it off to our club treasurer yesterday to get a second set of eyes on it to make sure that I hadn't overlooked something. Once that's approved, then I have compiled a list of the various recommendations that I've received for potential donations from us, and Rise With Us will be included in that. I want to say we have like 6 or 7 recommendations on things that we might do. And I'll get that to the board hopefully today. So, all right, well, without further ado, I know you were expecting to hear the continuation of the Samba story, but unfortunately Samba couldn't be with us this morning. But the good news is that Miss Sherry has stepped up to the plate and she has agreed to share her story with us.
Oh, neat.
So, Sherry, I'm going to turn it over. Yes, Sherry, I'm sorry.
There you go. Okay. Well, I just got a few things of how I grew up and how I got here, and I hope it doesn't bore you, and I'll kind of make it quick. I was born in Lake Forest, Chicago. My dad was an electrician. He came from a family of 7. My mom was just a housewife. She came from a family of 9. Awesome cook. That's where I get all my cooking from. I was the youngest grandchild, so of course I was the spoiled one. I grew up in an old Victorian house that my parents redid. There was 10 bedrooms and 7 fireplaces, so it was awesome. I came from a very German, Irish, English background, so Sunday morning was church or all holidays, and then we were all either at grandparents' house or our house for dinner. So it was kind of a fun growing up with all my family on a regular basis. I spent a lot of time out to my grandparents, out to their farm. They had a big 30-acre farm. And my grandfather's big thing was horseshoes. So I could even pick up a horseshoe at one point in my life. But finally grew into it and learned how to play horseshoes. And later on, it was very good for me because it's the same motion for horseshoes as it was for softball, and I became a strikeout queen. So thank you, Grandpa. Grandma and my mother put me in gymnastics and dance classes, so was very into that. As I grew older, went into sports. I skied and snowboard and swam and all the fun things. I'm not a strong swimmer, but I did water ski in Lake Michigan. Because we had life jackets. Grandma was a big influence on my cooking also. I make banana bread, which a lot of you have had, and it's from her great-great-grandmother in France. Went to a Catholic grade school, played sports there, did well with grades, went to a local high school, played volleyball and ran track. We won state all 4 years for track. I was class officer all 4 years. I ended up being class president at the end. I was homecoming queen, valedictorian. I was at a 940 some. I went to University of Illinois on a volleyball and track scholarship. Majored in computer science, accounting, and business administration. I do have a graduate degree in marketing. Back then when I played sports, we could get the paychecks and from our alumni, and my paycheck was $100 a week, and I got to water the sprinkler for the football, or water the football field. It was an automatic sprinkler, so I did nothing. Was in a sorority, was in a Gamma. After college, I went to work for, after graduate school, I went to work for Luxottica, which is Lens Crafters, Pearl Vision, Sunglass Hut. I was in HR. I slowly worked my way through the departments, moved a lot. I lived in Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kansas. They finally got me down here in Texas in '99. I traveled a whole lot. I was married in 2001. I met him at my church. We stayed married for about 10 years. In '05, I was still married. I came down with ovarian cancer. Went through 3 surgeries, chemo, radiation. It took about 5 years to get me back on my feet. I couldn't go back to work because it was too much travel and too much stress. So I started a small bookkeeping company, and that's what I do now. It's not very big, but I was on a board for my church for the women's ministry for 5 years. I was also on a board for Reagan's Hope, which is a child's foundation. Through an interesting date, I won't say it was a bad date because it wasn't bad. I went out with this guy for 3 or 4 times over a 3-month period, and he took me to LaRue every time. And that's how I met Bob and everybody else in the LaRue family. Became a regular there, and they definitely became lifelong family. Because of them, I learned about Leland. I was down here for like 14 years before I even knew Leland even existed. So I've joined that. I like that. I go visit there often. I also joined a Citizens University class because of it. Learned a whole lot about Lewisville. Applied for a board. I got on the Park and Recs board. Last fall, I did the police academy. Love that. And very involved in that. They have a work for the police department and for the community. Bob asked me to join the Rotary. I love that. It's great for what Rotary stands for, and all you people are fun. There's never a dull moment. I'm now cutting fabric for masks, so I am doing something. I bought a house in, put a bid on it in last November, but because it was in probate court, didn't get to close until the 13th of March, which was about the time that the hoarding all started. So it has been interesting. They're remodeling it. They should be done next week, and I should start to move in. I will move about 3 doors down from Todd Taylor. So I'm downsizing from about a 4,800 square foot house to a 2,300. I like to travel. I've traveled internationally and like music, like red wine, and like coffee. Think I covered everything pretty good?
I think you've got it.
That's
bit.
great, Sherry.
Very interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
All right. Anybody have questions?
Do you have a favorite red wine that we should all try?
Josh is what I use locally, but my favorite, LaRue has a good dry red wine. But my favorite is ostrich, the blue ostrich, or the ostrich up in Munster.
Ah,
We go up there probably about every other month, or we were. I'm supposed to go up next month to get the wine, but my friend's husband is really good friends with the guy who bottles, so he's going to bring mine back, so I don't have to go up and get it.
it's a good
So is
friend.
it dry or what kind of red wine?
Yeah, I like dry. I like the Yeah, the hired hand is my favorite up there. If you ever get time to go up there, if you want, if you use my membership, you can get free shipping and you can get 20% off all the bottles. So, and it's really good. So, and it's fun up there. It's out in the country. You get to sit out there and relax. And those of you guys been on my Facebook have seen some pictures that we've been up there.
Yeah.
And there's ostriches. You can, I mean, one of the things I miss is those outings. They're cute, those ostriches. They're huge.
All right. Any other questions? Very good. Well, thank you very much for sharing. That was really interesting. We really appreciate it. I love these biography things that we're doing, because who knew all those things about you in your younger years?
Did you know all your aunts,
Lots of
uncles?
fun.
Did you know all your aunts, uncles, and cousins? Could you call all of your aunts, uncles, and cousins by name?
Yes, I could. We would have on the average about, on Sundays, we would have about 28 to 35 people. And on holidays, it was nothing to have like 60 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
That's
that
wild.
German, Irish, English, you know, that was that
Yeah.
traditional stuff back when I grew up. Now we're all over the US.
Yeah. I think that's the way it is with most families these days, is we're all spread out everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thank
once
you for
again,
listening.
well, thanks for sharing. We really appreciate it. All right.
That was
So,
great, Sherry.
yeah, it was. So we're going to move on to announcements, and then we're going to close with happy thoughts. So the first announcement I have already given, the update on club giving. So expect to hear more on that coming up next week. There was a blood drive that a couple of our members participated in, and Mark, I know you were one of them. You want to give an update on that event?
Sure. It was with the Red Cross, and Jeff was our contact point and organized it. And Samba and I volunteered and went out to the facility. Unfortunately, because of social distancing rules and everything, they couldn't really use a lot of volunteers. So Samba ended up leaving early there. But the Lewisville Noon Club and our club were kind of the main sponsors of it. And Highland Village kind of showed up and at least donated some blood, even though they didn't have any volunteers working there.
Yeah.
And so they had a good turnout. They only accepted appointments only. No walk-ins were accepted.
Right.
So overall, it was a good event. They collected a lot of blood.
That's good. That's really good. I actually went so far as to reach out to my oncologist to see if I could give yet, and unfortunately the answer was no. All right. Well, thanks for that update. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the flag program. So there's been a flurry of activity in the last couple of days. And Bob, you kind of started it with the note about are we ready to send out the email to the subscribers about putting the flags out for an extended period of time. So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, that email went out yesterday evening, and I have already gotten one new subscription from that, because one of the subscribers who got the email about the flags going out talked to his neighbor, and that neighbor did the subscription this morning, and actually reached out to me for the link to our page, and within 5 minutes he had subscribed and paid. So we have one new subscription. I need to get with Todd
Fabulous.
about maybe getting a sleeve in for them for the new special distribution. I also had one subscriber who responded that they had resodded their lawn and need a sleeve put in so they can get theirs done. But I've gotten about actually right now it's up to over a 20% response to that, even though there was no request for a response. It's just have gotten about 20%, which is like 24 emails thanking us for this special project. So.
Oh, that's great. Great news.
Bob, you need to email me because the new house is ready for one, so you can add me to one.
I will do that.
And Bob, I'll need one for my subscription as well.
Okay. Did you not get oh no, you aren't on the list yet. Okay. I will get those two out.
Excellent. And Bob, I emailed you this morning. You probably haven't seen it yet, but Bill Shaw reached out with a potential lead on another subscription.
I did not see that.
No, I did it just before I signed on to this meeting, so you haven't had a chance to receive it. Okay.
Well, now that the email address is up, it's making it a lot easier to get back to people. The guy that signed up today said he'd been trying for a long time to do a subscription. It turned out he was trying to, email to our invalid address.
Yeah.
So once he got the valid address, like I said, he subscribed in 5 minutes. So
excellent. That's great. Yep. All right. And then one other thing on the flag program, we got notified yesterday by member Jeff Layton that his Boy Scout troop has kind of taken it upon themselves to have some signs made, some yard signs made. We were kind of going back and forth on the viability of that and how many we needed and all of that. I guess they just decided that it was revenue for them too, and so they took up their own collection, and his signs are just about ready. So, were they signs or just the decals? Well, Mark asked that question, and I don't think Jeff has given us an answer yet.
No, he did. He said they were new coroplast signs.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out when I'm going to get rid of the 300 or the 250 I have here.
Yeah.
I don't know whether those are recyclable or not. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah. Okay. So then all of the other announcements.
Tom.
Yes.
This is Terry. Just to add on to the flag discussion, today I'm ordering another 100 of those flyer tubes. So I think unless Jeff is on this Zoom meeting, I need to reach out to him because my suggestion is that we hold off until perhaps the following weekend before they put them out, because we won't get those until Monday or Tuesday, the additional 100 tubes that I'm ordering.
Okay. I'll let you communicate with him on that, Terry. Thanks for that.
Okay. One more thing regarding flags. I have been sending out a newsletter, a flag launch newsletter for every holiday, which I will continue to do for the peace officers, peace holiday, Memorial Day, and Flag Day. So anything that you think you folks think is pertinent, typically I focus on the federal holiday and how it came to be, and it's also a great opportunity to encourage people to convince their neighbors to join in. So anything that you folks think ought to be in that, send me a note and I'll make sure it gets included.
Perfect. Thanks, John. Okay, so the only other announcements that I had were things that John covered during the Rotary moment. So does anybody else have an announcement that I have forgotten about?
Yeah, Tom, this is Terry again. Let me have the floor for a moment if I can.
Sure.
So to all of our members, I'll be sending out invoices for fourth quarter membership dues in the coming days. So please look for that email and try to get your payment in. I've been sort of respectful for the challenges that we're all dealing with, and so we'll continue to be respectful on that. But we do have dues owed for fourth quarter, and then there are still some that are lagging for third quarter. So if you've gotten a reminder from me, please either pay or advise, one or the other, if there's circumstances that we have to realize. So again, just trying to get everything all caught up as we're nearing the end of the year.
Thanks, Terry. And I will add to that the anticipation of receipt of is included in the analysis that I did of the funds that the club has available potentially to make contributions to those worthy causes that we're looking into. So while we might not be eating together, which is where a lot of the dollars go to out of your quarterly dues, know that those funds will be put to good use. And of course, as Terry says, if you've got circumstances that you need to talk to him about, please do reach out to him.
Tom,
Okay.
I wonder if Terry can give us an update on the bikes. I know he had an email go out from Charlene, and I think it would be good for members to hear what's going on with the bikes.
Yeah, no, thanks, John. That was, I appreciate the entree on that. So Charlene has got back to me. She spoke with Miss Devers, the principal of CES. Sort of a surprise to me, but Miss Devers would like to continue with the bike program, even though the kids are not in school and are going to be challenged to have perfect attendance for obvious reasons. So what she's asked is that we continue with the program, which means we need to purchase 10 more bicycles. And what they're going to do, I believe, is get they're going to sort of do a little raffle from what I understand. I don't have the email up in front of me with the specific details, but basically what they're going to do is they're going to give the kids an opportunity to win a bike based on their participation in the online schooling program that's been going on for the last month and a half. So while perfect attendance doesn't come into play, recognition will, and that's the reason why they want to continue with that program. Any questions? Okay, well, if anybody does, and Tom, obviously we didn't put that into your financial analysis yet either, so we'll have to, I owe
Anybody
you
else?
a call back for that discussion, so we'll do that in the next day or so.
Yeah, so I did see the response that she had sent to you, so I did include some money for those bikes. So take a look there. It's there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Anything else as far as announcements? Okay,
Marilyn,
then.
You want to report on the district grant?
I was going to make that my happy thought.
Well, then go ahead. Why don't we start with happy thoughts, Marilyn?
Last night at 10 o'clock, Charlene Dickens came by our apartment and signed the final report for 2019-2020 for our dictionary project. And I was absolutely thrilled that she made the effort and came by to sign her name on the final report. Final report is we handed out 1,152 dictionaries, which affected all those kids plus all their parents. Third graders can use them as they wish through elementary, high school, and even college. The bottom line total amount was $3,168, of which $837 was given to us from the district. This report will then now be available at districtgrants.org. I have all the necessary paperwork I need from Charlene and Terry, and it will be considered closed later today as it gets put into their document program. The dictionaries project itself, I guesstimated that approximately 15 people helped with the dictionary project, putting labels on and distributing them. But it was a project well done, and every year the third graders are thrilled to receive them, and so is Central Elementary. So I don't see any reason why we can't do it again next year.
No, not at all. That's pretty good happy thought. And really what you're closing makes it all the happier for me, remembering handing those dictionaries out to those students. They love it. It's just, it's really surprising how much joy they get from being able to take possession of something like that, but they really do. So, all right. Well,
I was wondering if, I forgot her first name, Melissa, did you get a dictionary when you were in the third grade?
Yeah, I remember I did.
Oh, good.
That's great. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. Typically, what I do for Happy Thoughts is to just go through the list and call on each one of you, and I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to leave it open, and if you've got a happy thought, speak up.
I got one.
Go, John.
Mine is teachers. A number of my Facebook friends are teachers. Marilyn had a great conversation with Charlene yesterday. And for those of us that don't know, teachers have had a yeoman's task. I mean, while we're sitting and lounging trying to decide whether or not we're getting up, these people are dealing with children. Charlene, I don't know how big Charlene's 5th grade class is, but she's telling Marilyn that she's actually working harder now from home than when she had to go into the school.
Yeah.
Touching base with these kids and making sure they're doing their work and responding to their needs. God bless these people for what they do.
Yeah, you are right. Yeoman's task there. It's amazing. I mean, think of doing it face to face, and how hard that is. And then having to scramble to try to come up with a way to do it from a distance is just amazing. All right, who else?
I have one.
Go.
I'm going to add to that, young families. I watched my daughter and doing technical rollouts for an airline while she's teaching my grandsons at the same time at the same table. And I know that's happening all across our area. Young moms, young dads,
yeah.
multitasking. I have a happy thought for them.
Totally. That's great. I appreciate that very much. All right. Who else?
I have a quick one. I just found out within the past day or two that one of the people I used to work with is actually a Rotarian and is the club president in Barcelona, Spain.
Wow.
So that was fun connecting with him again after a couple years.
That's great. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so then I have one, and it's like I say the same thing all the time, but I'm just happy the sun is shining, and this whole virus thing is better, not worse, kind of, and that we're looking forward to better things, and I just I'm happy about that, and that's about it. And I'm sitting here petting my doggy, and that just makes me smile all the time. So.
That's great, Deanna. I love that. Well, I'm going to go really quick because I scrolled over here to see Deanna, and there's Michael Chaney, and I have to call you out for your hair again. It makes me happy to see it like that. And I also wanted to let you know how happy I am that my wife and I still like each other, even after all of this time we're together. Anybody else?
John and I can relate, Tom.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a happy thought. Going off of the international way from Mark. I have a good friend for years, probably 15 years now. most of my life. He is running a nonprofit down in Argentina. Started a nonprofit down there to help underprivileged youth down there by teaching them outdoor activities such as cooking and skateboarding and stuff like that to get them from doing bad things. But I talked to him for about 2 hours yesterday, and he just got a grant from the Argentinian government for about $500,000, and to build a facility on the beach that houses kids and all those good things. So I thought it was pretty crazy. He was super excited. Wanted to call me and ask me a few questions on some stuff. We ended up talking for a couple of hours, but pretty crazy how two kids from, or I guess a kid from, Plano, Texas, used to run around doing bad things, is now, impacting thousands of lives in Argentina, of all places. I always joke around because it's a Patagonia about once a month, and I'm like, it's tough, but pretty amazing. So
that's great. That's a good one. And thanks for your hair, Michael. Anybody else?
Hey, Tom, I got one.
Go, Terry.
Yeah, so I'm really happy, and I think everybody else on this call probably is as well, in that we live in the great state of Texas, and tomorrow we start opening up. So doesn't mean we should all run out and non-social distance, but it does mean that things are going to begin to get back to normal.
Yeah. Yes, I'm happy about that too. I hope that we don't go crazy. That's the biggest fear I have. But I have to have some faith in our fellow citizens that we won't do anything stupid, right?
It's called choice. It's called choice. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hey Tom, this is Ray. I got a couple.
All right, Ray.
I am happy about a company called FES Consultant. And the owners are on the phone, and they shall remain anonymous. But their first name is Merlin and John. They have taken over my social media and website, and they have done a fantastic job. I had a well-known national company doing that, and I don't want to embarrass these guys, but they have done a marvelous job that really helped us kind of get through this very slow season. The other one, I had called to show you guys on the line here, hoping that you would talk me out of it. I got a shocking phone call from Roger Pascal last week, asked me would I serve with him as on his staff as one of the assistant district governors. Unfortunately, no one could talk me out of it. John, but I do feel privilege, because I don't think there's anything that I've done, but I think that the work that our club has done spoke volume. So I appreciate you guys, and I wish you guys would have talked me out of it, but now I'm getting excited about helping Roger.
Good deal. That's
Wonderful.
Great. Congratulations, Ray. Actually, you're gonna do a great job.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Well, in that case, Mr. Smith. Oh.
I'm happy talking to you guys. Thank you for giving me a scholarship. It's gonna help me out.
Absolutely. That's great. And thank you for coming today. It's good to have your smiling face on the screen.
It was nice to talk.
Carlos probably called.
All right. So, Mr. Smith, could I get you to close the meeting by leading us in the four-way?
Sure. Okay, the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Number 2, is it fair to
Is it
all
fair to all
concerned?
concerned?
Number 3,
Will it build goodwill and better friendship?
Will it build goodwill and better friendship?
Number 4,
Is
Will
it
it be beneficial to all concerned?
and number 5,
Make it fun.
Fun.
All right. Well, speaking of fun, next week our speaker is either going to be Miss Marilyn, or she has reached out to a special guest. We'll see if he is able to attend. So either way, it'll be fun. So you all be safe this week, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.